This is a really important video for those going through the I-751 removal of conditions process when they are getting divorced or are already divorced. It's a very stressful time because you're already in a bad relationship that's, unfortunately ending, but you also have to keep your green card. And a lot of people are afraid of losing the green card. So sometimes they stay in bad relationships or they're completely freaking out. You're really worried, stressed out, can't sleep at night because not only, again, are you dealing with lawyer fees of a divorce and all that, but then you got to deal with immigration and potential lawyer fees and losing your green card, your job, and all that. I'm going to talk about an example, give details of timelines and documents used, and whole process of a removal of conditions case we did for a Brazilian national in the United States that adjusted status, got a green card in the United States, and between the time getting the green card and having to renew the green card, unfortunately, the relationship fell apart and they got divorced. We're going to go through the process right now. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi of the JQK immigration law firm. We help couples get green cards and keep green cards. And unfortunately, sometimes when the relationship is not continuing, we also help them do I-751s alone. And this is a unique situation we're going to go in detail right now on, and we'll try to break it up apart so y'all see it if we can on YouTube. But here we had a person who came to me after getting the green card, and they had been with their spouse for before they were married for many, many years. But after they got married, everything went changed for them. So they realized they couldn't be in this relationship and they had to leave. But always there's this worry, should I stay in this relationship because I have a green card or not? Well, when we talked about the relationship, when we saw the joint documents they had and the history that they had together, I say, first of all, you should never stay in a relationship. Even if you don't have good documents, there's always ways we can argue it and tell the government about what the issues are to see if you can make sure you get the green card, but really fight for and keep the green card. And we've always been successful, and we did that in this case. So the rules are like this. If you file a jointly filed green card with the spouse, you have to submit the I-751 application within this 90-day window before your green card expiration. On our website, jqklaw.com, we have an app there that says when that 90-day window is, so you have an idea about it. Just go to jqklaw.com and click on the tools on the top right, and you can see that. But here, there's this exception where if you're doing a waiver-based I-751 because you're afraid of going back to your home country, because there is abuse in the relationship, or because you're divorced and separated but it was a legitimate relationship, there are no deadlines. You could file the case before the 90-day window, during, and after. Generally, I prefer that people file it before the expiration of the I-751 because they need to get evidence of having a green card, the renewal they get when they file for the extension. And sometimes USCIS will send you to the immigration court if you don't file it in time, even though you're going to do a waiver-based case. So it's something you want to be very careful of. What's unique about this case is that they had filed for divorce, but the U.S. spouse, the U.S. citizen spouse, was still not, such a bad relationship with them that they're willing to sign the form I-751, even though they had initiated divorce proceedings. We typically don't see that because people hate each other at that point. Even if they don't, we usually don't want to do that because just getting involved with this third party in the case at this point, it can make things troublesome, but they're really cool and the client really wanted it. So we actually filed what would become a waiver-based green card as a jointly filed. So they had initiated a divorce. Divorce was pending while the I-751 window was opening up and green cards would expire. We could have filed as a solo waiver-based and just said in the application that the divorce is not finalized, but we'll submit the divorce when we have it, the final divorce certificate. But here we didn't need to do a waiver base at this point. We submitted as a jointly filed because they're still married, just in divorce proceedings, and we submitted the case. And it went into pending status on February 6th. That's when we submitted it. The expiration was soon after that. And while it's pending 4 or 5 months later, they got the final divorce order, and then we sent that to USCIS requesting a waiver-based application. It's just a simple letter. You don't need to redo the form saying we're waiving it now, and here's the divorce certificate. Now, the timing of getting divorced is really important because USCIS could come back, soon after submitting the I-751 that says the divorce is pending, or many months or a year later, but they're going to ask for the divorce certificate. And if you don't have it, that's going to be a hard response that creates difficulties, and that's something you got to talk to a lawyer about to be able to push the time back more, request an interview, or just do something to keep the case alive so that the divorce certificate could be issued and you can finalize the case with that. But here, government didn't say anything. On our own, we resubmitted the waiver request and had that pending. And eventually, December 30th, 2024. So about, what is the math on that? A year and 10 months or so, it was approved on its own without an interview. So that's possible and it's doable. And as a waiver-based I-751, it was kind of weird again because we filed it as joint at first, but then went to waiver. Note that as lawyers, because the partner that we're now representing was also signing the forms, we created a release. So you have to sign this release saying, we're not responsible for them. We're not the attorney. They can't hold us liable. All this kind of stuff. I just have to tell you that we do to protect ourselves. But what documents did they have that made the case so strong that was approved without RFE and without waiver? Well, they had a lot of family photos and friends, which a lot of people have. They had driver's licenses showing the same address. And that's very important for all I-751 cases. If you're married and everything's cool, they have IDs, driver's license, same address. They also had joint lease agreement and renters agreement. That's the second thing they like. They like joint leases. They, showing that you're living together. They like driver's licenses or IDs, same address. Third, they like joint tax returns. And luckily, this couple had 2 years worth. And then they had joint bank statements. So fourth thing they like is having financial documents commingled. And then, they didn't have a child. That's the fifth thing I like to see. But additional to that, they had, credit card accounts that were similar, other financial stuff. They also had life insurance policies and retirement plans listing each other as beneficiaries, health insurance, car insurance, showing paperwork that a car insurance was good. As long as they got a car together to have both their names, joint utility bills, and a lot of travel records. So it was like a solid case. So we're very confident in it. Client was very worried. They're just a worrier. But we knew because the amount of documents they had was good. Having said that, I've sent these amount of documents before and good evidence where USCIS comes back and says, it's not enough for us. And then we just kind of fight him back and gets approved. So, that does happen. It's a little bit of a headache that the government does this kind of stuff. But we were able to get the approval notice. And here's a copy of it. I'm putting on the screen right now for those watching. Here's the approval. Again, about a year and 10 months, my wonderful associate, Anastasia Gable, was a lead attorney on this case. And it was approved. So now they have a full green card. In about a year from now, from where this recording, they're going to file for citizenship. They have evidence which is real, didn't work out, and everything's fine. So I really like doing these kind of videos because you have consultations every day, and people come and they're very worried because they're in a bad relationship and they don't want to leave, or they've left or divorced. They're really seeing stuff online. They're freaking out. They're worried. They're just ruining their lives. It's really doable, even with much less evidence. We've done this. I'm working on right now that has much less evidence. Sometimes do personal statements explaining why they have less evidence, explaining what happened in divorce with a lot of details. And the amount of fights, when was the fight, what happened, what was said in the fight, where were you? A lot of details they want to see. In worst case scenario, they issue an appointment to come and talk to them in person. You go and talk to them. They let them know you're a real person. Obviously, this has to be a real case. Fake cases we can't help. But if you're a legitimate case, and we could tell because we just do this every day and we talk to so many people about this issue that I could, tell at this point. I've been doing this for a lot of years. And we do our best, and we've always had success in these cases. But again, the key is, we do initial consultation to make sure everything makes sense. We believe you, and if I believe you, then it's really doable because I'm conservative. I'm not just taking on any case. And if we go from there, we could do a good job on it. And no guarantees, obviously, because the government does what government does. But we've had a lot of success in this arena. If you wanted to schedule a meeting with us, a consultation, the fees apply. But it's go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. Fill out the information there. It can help you out to get your life started and back on track. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you so much for joining us for this educational video, not intended as individual legal guidance. Have a good one.